Oh my god. So we're live on Instagram again because Facebook is freaking stupid. So hopefully this works. For some reason it worked a hell of a lot better last time. So adding her to it. This is Social Lubrication, a show where we talk about sex, relationships, and dating. I'm adding Amber to the chat now. Oh my god, hi.
I'm here finally.
Oh my god. Yay. Oh, Facebook is so stupid sometimes.
Agreed. I was like so over that as much as you were. I'm like, oh my god.
That was pissing me off. Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, what do you want to know? Like, okay, my name is Amber. I am from a small town in Sheldon, out of Wisconsin, and I have a soon-to-be 4-year-old daughter, a little guy on the way. He'll be here in October, and I'm dating this lovely guy, Trevor, that's over here.
Awesome. Okay, so I know that like when I started following you on Facebook, you were like going through a big divorce. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted, like, do you want to tell me a little bit of a backstory on that?
Okay, like how far do you want to go back on?
Pretty far from the beginning.
Like how how it started? Like,
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Okay, so I of course did online dating, so I don't want to scare people off of that because there are good people out there, obviously, that you can meet online. But no, I met Luke online, and we had a lot of stuff in common. We worked out. I was just looking for like the farm hobby life, and I was just gonna kind of go back to my old school roots of small town. And we, let's see, started dating in June of 2015. Ended up getting engaged 3 months later, maybe, yeah, 3.5, something like that. And I actually quit my job, moved across the state 3.5 hours away to go be a stay-at-home mom, because then we found out we were pregnant with our daughter, and got married less than a year, had a kid within a year and a half, and everything was like peachy great, like no lie. So I know a lot of people get really deterred from that because they're like, how, like, where did it all of a sudden go wrong? Because it was all of a sudden like a huge explosion of things that just basically unraveled around our daughter's first birthday.
Oh.
So yeah, out of nowhere, I could tell things were just getting a little different. And I mean, I know everybody has bad days, so I just thought it was like bad days, Luke going to work. I was just a stay-at-home mom still at that point, and it started by him telling me that we couldn't afford groceries. And I thought that was really weird, because I was like, if you're going to work every day, why can I not afford to go get groceries right now? It just didn't understand. It didn't really click with me until I started piecing things together. I finally reached out to his mom to be like, what's going on? And here she told me that he had actually been diagnosed with manic bipolar depression. He's extremely suicidal, and that was since he was in kindergarten. And I had no notion of knowing any of this until a year and a half of being together, roughly. So that just unraveled a huge ball, basically, and that's where things just went south real quick.
Oh my god. Jesus.
I know.
Did it tell you anything?
Shit up, honestly. No, like I had, so honestly, like I know people ask me that, they're like, you had no clue, and I'm like, no. So come to find out, when I like asked Luke about this, like when his mom told me all this stuff, the only thing he had told me was that he had been depressed before, that he had depression and he was on medication, but made it sound like a very like old thing, like it was old news, like something he had been through worked through, etc. So I was like, like I'm a very open-minded person where I'm like, you know what? Depression comes a lot with a lot of people nowadays. So my family members have depression. They're on medication for it. I didn't think it was a big deal. So I looked past that teeny flaw and yeah.
Oh God. Okay, so when did you guys like start the divorce process, and like how long did that take? I feel like it took forever.
It was forever. And I mean, for you being like a outsider thinking that it took forever, you probably can't imagine how it felt for me,
Right.
honestly, because yeah, so once finding that out about Luke, I definitely was someone who was gonna stand by her relationship, and I just made it very clear to him that he needed to get help again and that I would be willing to do anything to make that work. If that meant going back on medication, that I would basically fully support him, and anything for work, like if it meant me having to get a job, like to help support our family, like I would have gladly went back to doing hair again over there, since that's a pretty easy job to like move around and find. There's
Right.
always hair salon jobs available. So um we looked into different clinics like for him to go check into. He started seeing a therapist again. Well, I found out he had actually seen a therapist for quite a long time, but that was very frequent while we were dating because everything was like I don't want to say perfect, but it was good for like a year, which if you know anything about depression and that, it's highs and lows and it can go from great to bad. And I kind of I don't want to say I gave him an ultimatum, but I kind of said, I'm like, we're going to do this together, or like, I can't keep on living a life like this because it was just unfair. Like, he would not come home. He would just say really mean things to me. Like, he would threaten me. And once he just finally said that he was not ever going to be on medication again, I left December of 2017 and came back home for the holidays and made it very clear that I was staying back north until like we figured out what we were doing. And I brought our daughter with me, of course, and he was very adamant that he would try this clinic out in Chicago. So he went to the Chicago clinic, didn't want me to come with. Again, another thing I kind of was like, okay, weird, but okay, like I'll let you go by yourself. One day I had a call from them and they were asking me some questions because I, being his wife, was his emergency contact. He then proceeded to not tell them the truth. So things I told them that was happening, he wasn't even telling them. So I knew at that point, like, I was pretty much dragging a horse to water and this horse was not going to drink. So I felt like I was beating my head up against a wall, basically. And he finally just told me that day that he was not ever going to go on medication or nothing was going to change. And he just flat out said that if getting married and having a daughter wasn't going to make him happy, nothing was going to make him happy at that point in time. So I left. I gave him 6 months to figure out what he really wanted, like, because that's kind of a rash decision. Like, you're gonna choose, I guess, not getting help over your wife and kid. And finally I filed in May of 2017, and it took 2.5 years for my divorce to be final.
Oh my God, that's forever.
It is. It's forever.
Oh my God. Okay, so like, when did you start dating again after you guys had split?
Um, Trevor's just in the background, like, wait, watch what you say. No, I know you're not. I honestly kind of like, it's like serious dating or like just honestly, like I felt like I had a life again. So honestly,
Right.
it felt really good to come back home. And honestly, for I don't know, a couple months I didn't do anything because I was so devastated that I had to file for divorce and
Right.
serve loose papers because that's just not what I initially wanted. So, I mean, for probably, I think, a good month, I honestly bawled my eyes out almost every single day because I just didn't understand how someone could choose not getting help when they had been medicated previously to like just not choose that. But I slowly grew to accept that and just realized that like that wasn't my choice. Like I had to do what I thought was best for me and my daughter, and I just had to continue on forging through that. So after a while, like I got ballsy and went back online and was like, well, we'll see who we can meet. Like, because I just did not want to date anybody from my hometown, like, because everybody's in everybody's business. Everybody knows everything about everybody. And I just didn't want to deal with that. And I wanted just like kind of like a fresh start, basically. But, I kind of dated around a little bit, but I didn't get into anything too serious. And I promised myself I wasn't going to get in anything too serious because I wanted to close the chapter of my divorce first. So I made that promise to myself that like I just didn't want to be too serious with someone because I just didn't know how things were going to go.
Right. Oh God, I thought you froze for a second. Yeah, I don't know. I'm single, online dating, and it sucks. Did you meet like a lot of crazy people when you were doing it?
Honestly, like going through that divorce, I think made me have huge standards. Like huge
Right.
standards. Like I'm talking like especially when you have a kid
Uh-huh.
on top of it, like you are now not only like welcoming somebody into your life, but you're welcoming somebody into like your child's life. So honestly, for the longest time when I was dating a few guys, I didn't even let them meet my daughter because
Right.
I was like, I don't want to like just be bringing any Joe Blow like into my daughter's life. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. And a couple, yeah, I don't know, a guy I did date, he had some kids himself, and it was just really awkward. Like I could tell that it wasn't going to go anywhere, that he wasn't serious when I was ready to be serious, because he never mentioned anything about his kids and was very like quiet about that, and he never asked anything about my daughter. So I actually like ended that because I was like, no, like this clearly I could just see it wasn't going anywhere. Like I was done with that. And then another guy I did date, oh god, dated him for a couple months. He ended up, gosh, he did meet my daughter. He was really good with her. But then an incident happened one night where like he wanted to have sex with me and I didn't want to, and he actually shoved me off my bed, and right then and there in the middle of the night I called it quits. I was like, bye. Like you can leave. And I was like, you can drive back to Chicago right now. Like I don't even care. Because I was like, that's just not like that's not okay. So I was like, I'm not going to let some guy think that they can get away with that and just treat anyone like that. So I was like, no. And I just told him, I'm like, future reference, don't do that to your next girlfriend that you have. Like, maybe it'll work out then. Just a thought. But I don't know. It's nuts. It's hard. I think it's really hard online dating. I think you literally have to have your guard up to a certain extent. You have to have standards. And I just really watch other people's cues. Like when I talk to people, like if they would not respect kind of what I was saying or anything like that, I was like, already, I'm like, that's not a person that I want to get involved with. Because if they're doing that over texting or a phone call or anything like that, I'm like, it's going to be like that in person too. So
Exactly.
I was very, very, very high standards.
So how did you meet the boyfriend you have now? What's his name again?
Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah, how did you guys meet?
So Trevor and I actually have a long history of trying to date / be together. I don't know. It actually started back when He's in the background just laughing about this. we, he's actually, so I've known him my whole life. He is actually one of the guys that I didn't want to date because he's from my small town, of course, and then we end up together. I graduated with his sister, so I actually grew up with his family basically my whole entire life. His sister and I were good friends, so of course you always crush on like your friends' older brother siblings. So that has always been a thing since I was probably in middle school. But when we actually like legitly tried, I'm gonna say when I tried dating Trevor was just a young 21-year-old and I was 18. And yeah, he was a guy who wanted notches on his belt and I would not allow it. So we we just didn't work out, and then it's always been like off timing for 8 years, I think. Like either he had a girlfriend or I was seeing someone, and it just didn't really pan out until we both pulled our heads out of our asses, I feel like. And then we started dating because we've always stayed in touch through fitness. Like we're both into working out and eating healthy, so we stayed talking throughout those 8 years, just keeping in touch. And next thing you know, I moved back home and he shows up on what, Valentine's Day? Yep, the year that I moved home, with flowers and Halo Top ice cream. And he was just like that good. He's like the nice guy that never wins, but now he finally won.
Oh, that's awesome. You said you're due in October, right?
Yep.
Boy or girl?
We're having a little boy.
It's like so exciting. I feel like I was like looking at pictures and I thought you were gonna pop way sooner than October. I was like, oh god,
I know, I feel like huge.
Yeah, I was like, I hope I don't ask her to come on and then like she goes in labor on the video.
Wait, gotta go. Bye.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, I'm really happy it worked out, everything, after all of that mess. Oh god. So I'm adding a new segment to this. So I want you to imagine that you're single. And
oh boy. Okay. And not pregnant, right? Single
no,
and not
no.
pregnant.
And I have like deal breakers. So like,
okay.
Number one. Okay, so the guy has a foot fetish, but he gives really great massages and pays for your pedicures.
Oh boy. Like what kind of foot fetish are we talking here? Like
like he wants to suck on your toes once in a while.
Trevor's like gross. You know what? Honestly, oh my, Trevor's gonna, you probably know the answer to this question already before I even respond to it. I would say I'm a sucker after working, doing hair, because I'm just going to pretend I still have my same job, obviously. After doing hair, there's nothing I love more than a foot massage. So I feel like if he was going to pay for my pedicures on a regular basis and give me foot massages, I would be okay with it.
That's awesome. Okay, number two. He's super wealthy, but he's like one of those people that flaunts his money all the time.
No.
Nope.
Deal breaker. No.
When you meet him, he lives in his mom's basement.
Hold on. So that was legit. When I went online dating, I told myself I would never, ever date someone who still lived with their parents. But here, Luke still lived with his parents. And of course, the guy after that met my daughter still lived with his parents. And I mean, I want to say like I would make that a hard no, but I understand that there's circumstances. I feel like it would depend on the circumstance. Like Luke's situation made sense. Like he worked on his parents' farm, so it didn't make sense for him to like have his own place necessarily.
Right.
But I feel like as an adult, I would want my own place.
Right.
Like, that's the first thing I did when I was 18 years old. I was like, bye, parents. I'm never coming back again.
Bye.
So I would say, like, if I was single, like, now, right now, I would be like, no. I would not be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
No. No.
Okay. So on your first date, he's really rude to the waiter.
Nope.
No.
I don't think I could do it.
I don't think so.
No, like, I just think like first impressions are everything. So I feel like if he was rude to a waiter or waitress, like I would be embarrassed, honestly.
I know. I feel like I would call him out.
Yeah, like I feel like I would say something too, like, especially now. Like I'm so blunt that I'd be like, why'd you do that? So no, deal breaker.
Okay, and the last one is he is best friends with his ex.
Ooh. Damn, that's a hard one.
No.
Like, if she was nice and they gave me no reason to think that there was ever something there, I think I would be cool with it, because, like, I'm friends with some of my exes, but I'm not, like, close friends with them where, like, we still go hang out and, like, do stuff and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a little different, but I feel like I'm a pretty trusting person. So I feel like if there was no reason for me to think there was anything, then I think I'd be okay with it.
Awesome. Okay, so what advice would you give to someone who is going through a divorce?
I'm gonna try thinking of, like, advice for people who are going through a divorce that have kids and then don't have kids. I would say, just out of my situation with having kids, I'm just speaking from experience. This is completely my experience and how I felt about my divorce. I made all of my decisions based off of Carlea's best interest. Like, what I thought was best for my daughter, that's what I chose. Like, I wasn't like a selfish, crazy ex-wife that was gonna try going for, like, everything. Like, I just wanted out of that marriage as fast as I could, and I tried making it as simple as I possibly could without fighting over, like, assets and child support, you name it. That would be my advice, is just solely think about your children if you literally have kids and are going through a divorce. Not that I'm saying if you don't have kids, don't be that crazy ex-wife, obviously, but, like, and as for someone who is just married and is going through a divorce, like, again, I would just try picking things that, like, hopefully you can have a kosher divorce, where mine was pretty brutal. Like, it was a fight over child custody. Like, hopefully, like, just try being as calm as you possibly can. And I would recommend everyone to hire a lawyer, whether you think you need one or not. That way it's just all on paper, it's documented, it can't ever change. Like, that other person can't ever come back after stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. Like, try to make things as smooth as you possibly can, even though I know sometimes that's not the case, but just try to do your best and survive. That's all I know. And focus on yourself. Like, focusing on yourself is huge.
Awesome. Okay, so do you have anything you want to plug, like your social media or anything?
Like, put in here?
Yep.
Yeah, I can comment any of my stuff on here. That's totally fine.
Okay, sweet. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for popping on and talking with me. Sorry.
Now that we finally got it to work.
I know, that was so stupid. I seriously hate Facebook right now. It's just been driving me nuts. Like, nothing ever works for me on there right now.
like I was looking for the little green guy and I'm like, where's this little green guy that everybody's talking about? I'm like, I tried on my phone and on my like laptop and I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, there's literally nothing for me to like click to join. I'm like, I can invite other people to watch, but I'm like, I cannot click on anything to like join this.
Right. Yeah, when this ends, I'm gonna like download it and then post it on Facebook, so it will be up there too. So,
Perfect.
all right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me as a guest speaker.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.